Hello everyone, Roy Kerckhoffs here. Today I would like to take you through some steps coloring with Marshall photo oils on inkjet paper. So a while ago, several years ago, more than several years ago, I gave some workshops on how you can color with Marshall photo oils, and so I made up this sheet. This is a 12 by 18 inch sheet with little exercises which start from very simple to harder and harder till you get to actually coloring a photograph. I have two versions of this. This is for right-handed people like me, so we're going to work our way from left to right, but I also have one for left-handed people, and both of these you can download from my website, and actually have a link in the description for these two files. What I first did, I printed this with my Canon smaller printer on luster Vibrance photo paper. I sprayed it with Golden Gloss Varnish in order to fix the inks, and that's dry. I did that again, so it has two layers, and then when that was dry I coated it with an acrylic medium, which is then perfect to color on with Marshall photo oils. If you have the opportunity to have this printed with a light jet by a local lab or some online lab on, say, Kodak Endura matte paper or matte Fuji Crystal Archive photo paper, you don't even have to do all these steps. You can just paint or color directly onto these papers. And there's a few other darkroom papers that you can also use these oils directly on without pre-treating them. In this case though, I pre-treated it so you can print these yourself at home. So let's get started. In addition to the photo, we're also going to need the following. So I like to use palette paper to put my paints on, Marshall photo oils, cotton rounds to add and remove paint, Q-tips or cotton swabs also to add and remove paint, and then these are called ITs, and these are very pointy cotton swabs for the very detailed work, and disposable gloves because oils are slightly toxic and you want to protect your hands. Let's just start with the first little exercise. You can see I wrote down the purpose of these. So for this we're gonna just fill in the square to get familiar with the oils. Pick any color that you want. I'm taking some sky blue here, putting it on my palette paper, and we are going to add that color with cotton rounds. Pick up the cotton round, pick up some of that paint. You don't need very much, very little. Also need very little on your cotton round, and just fill in this square. Not pushing very hard, very lightly to get the color on. If you push too hard, you get some more paint on it, and you don't want to push that hard that you're actually damaging the paper. And there we go. And you can see I went over the lines here. Actually, I'll do this a little bit on purpose, a little more. And you can see that gray values of the photo, so this was gray just like this one, it desaturates your blue a little bit, makes it a little darker, and then this on pure white, like here, you can get the pure blue. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We'll just use the same color for now. Pick up some of that blue again, and now we're also filling in the square, but now we on purpose, well, maybe not even on purpose, it just happens, with a cotton round, it's hard to do very precise work. That's why we have the cotton swabs, and you just go over the lines, like what's happening here. And we're going to fix that. So we're going to correct this by removing the paint outside the square. So with a cotton swab, you can just remove this paint pretty easily. And that's what's nice about these oils, in combination with the right paper, and in this case with this coating, we can relatively easily remove paint. Let's grab a clean new one. You can see it picks up that paint. And this I do a lot. So when I color photographs, I very roughly color in big surfaces with cotton rounds, and then I take Q-tips and carefully remove the paint where I don't want it. So you see there's still a little glow around it, because with this coating it's a little bit harder. If you have the Kodak Endura or the Fuji crystal paper, it removes completely. But that's why we have also the PM solution. And the way you want to use this, you take a little bit on cotton round, and then dab a clean Q-tip in that, and now you can use that to remove the paint. So right now it's actually completely removing it. I almost never use this solution because I can get the paint off pretty easily without it. But I just wanted to demonstrate to you how you can also use this PM solution to remove that paint. And that's the thing also, don't dip this directly into the solution because you get too much on this. That's why you want to put it on cotton round first and get it from there. Again, let's move on to the next one. Now we have a square with a little gray gradient, and this is to demonstrate how it changes your color that you put on. So let's grab a new color maybe. Let's grab a color that I don't use very much. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, color called Flash. It's like a brownish color. You can pick it up with a clean cotton round and fill in the square. And you can see that because it's so transparent, you can still see the grays underneath, and it actually in this case makes your color a lot darker and desaturates it. Now if you want a dark color that's not desaturated, you just put on the color very thick, like this. And now you have a darker color that's also retains its color. Just like that. All right. Like a lot of these paints are very translucent, pretty much all of them. There's also white, which is opaque, and you can actually mix white with a color to get an opaque oil. I have a video on that too. But what I want to show now is that not all paints of the Marshall photo oils have the same transparency. For example, here we have two completely black squares. I'm taking this yellow and we're going to put that yellow on the black. Now, if this was completely transparent, you would not see any color, but look at this. So that just means it's not completely transparent, has some opacity to it, and yellow is one of the ones that has this quite strongly. So what I want to show is when you do big surfaces and there's a lot of darker areas in there and you want to add yellow, but you want to retain the black of the photo underneath, you probably want to remove it. So taking a clean cotton swab, and you can see in order to get that black back, it's best to remove the yellow from black surfaces, like here. Not sure if you can see that quite well on the video, but I think you can. You can see there's still some yellow here that you can see, and this is all cleaned out. All right. Next, not a square, two rectangles. It says fill in with two different colors. This is to demonstrate when you have two colors next to each other how careful you have to be. Like now, for the first color, it's okay to go over the lines, just like we did with this square here. But then the second color will have to be more careful, and I'll show you how I normally do that. So just let's grab that yellow that I had earlier, and let's start adding that yellow to the left rectangle. Maybe a little more so we can more clearly see it. And then the other rectangle will get a different color. Now you can see I went over the line, so we take a clean cotton swab. First remove this. And now what we do, let's grab this blue from earlier. And we can do stay away from the edge with the other color. And with a cotton round you can still add this here. But now we don't want to go over the lines, of course, with this surface here. So then we take cotton swab, and then, oh, there was some yellow on there. Let's grab a new one. Cotton swab, pick up some of that blue, and then now we have much more control, and then you carefully bunch up to the edge with the yellow. Just like that. And this happens a lot in photographs, of course, when you have several colors bunching up to each other. You can make it a little smoother by taking the clean side here of this cotton round and just dab it a little bit, and you get a more uniform look. This is a way to get nice uniform color surfaces. And we have a nice little edge in between these two colors. Okay, moving on. A little different now. Now we have two circles. We're doing the same thing. Fill the outer circle with a certain color, and then the inside with something else. And what I like to do here, I think I would like to do the outer one first, and then clean up on the inside and fill in the inside one with a Q-tip. Let's grab some different colors. So let's see, which one shall we use? How about raw sienna? Taking very little bit, little amount. And one of those previous colors we had, maybe, no, let's take another one. Let's grab Viridian, which actually looks very much like aquamarine. So here they are, the raw sienna and the Viridian. So the outer circle will fill up with raw sienna, and very roughly like that. And then for just the purpose of demonstration, let's also remove it from the outside here. I like to work this way quite a bit, many times. It's easier to just put it on roughly and then later on carefully remove paint, as opposed to trying to stay within the lines. Of course, we can only do that when there's not another color next to it, like we're gonna have now, and like we had here previously. Again, there's a little bit of glow left of that color. We could remove that again with the PM solution, but I'm not gonna bother. So now let's pick up that Viridian with a cotton swab, and we fill up this inner circle. And now we have to be a little more careful, not going over the lines. And there we are. Okay, so what if we do go over the lines? Then we do this. Say, oops, made a mistake. So then you take a clean cotton swab, you remove it, and then you go back in to the other color, which in this case was raw sienna, and you paint that back in. And then we can take cotton round to smooth that out a little bit again. And there, we made a correction. All right. Now we get to the first little photograph. This is a tree with leaves, and let's see what I told myself to do here. Color the tree green or fall colors and the sky blue. So let's just grab green. So this is my oxide green. We'll take another clean cotton round. Pick up some of that green and add green to the tree. And so you can see you don't have to worry about details, you don't have to color all the individual leaves separately. It is translucent, and the darker details will keep that darkness. And now we have a real life example of two colors that are bunched up to each other. So we grab some blue now. Stay away from the tree, from the edge of the tree. And we add that blue with a cotton round, leaving some room in between. So then we grab another clean. I need some more blue though. Running out of blue. Pick up some blue with cotton swab, going right next to the tree. And then there's this gap here in the middle that we can also fill up. Okay, it's a little dark, so with the clean side of this cotton swab, we will remove some of that paint, give it the same look as on the outside here. And there we go. Then we have a next little exercise. Color the water blue, the wave aqua, or Viridian, because it looks to me like aqua. And we're going to leave the foam white, the foam of the breaking wave here, or we can remove that when we go over the lines there with a clean cotton swab. So pick up some of that blue. Add it to the water. I'm also going over the palm tree for now. And then there's a lot of foam in the front here, so we're not going to go over that. Like that. Then we take a clean cotton swab, remove some of that blue from this breaking wave here, and the palm tree, and then maybe a little bit here. Then we pick up that Viridian I had earlier, or aqua, and we add that to the inside of the wave here. It's that nice backlit effect that waves can have when this light comes from the back. It's a little too intense, so with the clean side of the cotton swab I will remove some. Make it a little more subtle. I was going to add some color to the palm tree too, but it's a little too dark for that. So we'll just move on to the next little exercise, which is this blue sky here. I'm going to color the sky blue and then make the clouds white again. I do have another video of when you can add your own clouds, which is also the next exercise. There we go. You can see I did go over the clouds a little bit. I'll just grab a clean cotton swab and then remove the paint from the clouds again, making them white. Just like that. Let's move on to the next one. Again, create your own clouds. So let's grab some blue. So I'm grabbing some more Chinese blue, which is slightly different from the sky blue. There we go. And then if you have a big surface, this is pretty small now, but if you have a big surface, you can remove the paint with a cotton round. But in this case, we're just going to add clouds with a cotton swab. course, the background was slightly light gray, so we're not getting it as white as over here, which were true white clouds. But if you have a very white sky in your photo, you can add blue to it and then bring in some clouds of your own this way by just removing the blue paint. All right. Fill the letters with a color. So I would say just I have a lot of yellow still here. So I'm picking up some yellow, Q-tip, cotton swab, and we're going to fill in these letters. This is just to get a feel to handle details. There you go. You know what? We can actually fill that in with different colors. It's just a little exercise to be a little bit more precise. Like that. And then some raw sienna. That's aqua / Viridian. And then what else do we have? Green. There we go. I'm grabbing a clean one, clean cotton swab, and then clean this up a little bit here. There we go. This exercise says fill the rectangle and then remove paint from the letters. So that's kind of the reverse way of what we did earlier. So since I still have a lot of blue on here, I'll just grab my cotton round and add some blue. And then we take a clean cotton swab and then remove the paint from the letters. Maybe this is a good time to introduce the ITs. These are very pointy Q-tips and they're good for detail. Actually, I'll take some of that PM solution again, because what's happening now, I'm actually removing a little bit of the layer of the acrylic. working with the acrylic medium is a little bit harder. That's why I still prefer working with like real chemically developed photo paper, because you can easily remove the paint without any troubles. But this is still a decent job here. Okay, and why we did that is I want to show you a real life example. Say I have colored a lot of lifeguard towers here in Southern California, and they have these railings. So what I then do is I add color to the lifeguard tower. Again, let's do blue. A lot of these towers here are blue. Mostly blue or yellow. Let's put it on a little thicker so you can clearly see it. So I'm kind of dabbing the paint on now. And then again, with a clean IT, you can remove the paint from the railing. And this seems like a small, insignificant detail, but it does make a difference when you look at these photos. And the railing is nice and clean, free of color. There we go. And here's an example. I'm going to color the grass green and the flowers any other color. And again, I still need to grab some green again. Grab a clean cotton round. We'll fill this up. Of course, that is too thick. But then I like to work that way too, so I like to put it on relatively thick in certain instances, and go back in with the clean side of the cotton round, and then remove some of that paint so you can see the details again. It gives you a little bit more control of the thickness of the paint that you put on. So there we go, and then we could remove the paint from the flowers, but we can also just grab a clean cotton swab and just put it right on top of the green. Maybe grab some, let's see what we have here. Let's grab another color. Cerise, like a nice red. There you go. Of course, you can put in any color here that you want. If you want the purest color, then you do want to remove some of the green, like this, and then add your different color. And then maybe smooth it out a little bit. Just dab straight down and up. Don't move back and forth. To clean it up a little bit. There we go. This little exercise here is from one of my photos that I took at night. The moon was behind me and there was city lights. This is the beach, and there were city lights coming from the back moonlight from this side. So it was a very nice blue and red-ish color. So what we can do here is grab some of that raw sienna from earlier, put that everywhere. So these are from the city lights. And then with another cotton swab, we'll add some blue on this side of the sand, so where the moon was shining. Just like that. So that gave a very nice, interesting pattern of light browns and blues. Just like that. The pelican. Let's add some color around. It says color the water blue. Of course we can do any color we want. I don't have to follow my own orders. So I'm picking up some of that viridian from earlier, going around the pelican. And this is another real life example of when you have two colors that are bunching up to each other. So I went a little bit over the pelican, so we'll grab a clean cotton swab and remove it from the head here. And the pole he's sitting on, or she. It. And then let's see, what is a nice color for a pelican? Like we have brown pelicans here. So grab some, this is some of that raw sienna again. Gives it a little bit of a golden color. And then just, because I used some violet earlier, I'll just make this violet here. I don't have to go with like a brown. And we could leave the beak untouched. Just give it a little bit of yellow. There. Also adding it with a cotton swab. There we go. The pelican is done. And now we get to the last two photos. This is a photo from Bodie, California. One of the bars where there was bottles standing on the bar. And what we can do here, of course you're free to do whatever you want with this. But normally the way I do it is I take some light brown or burnt sienna. Let's grab some burnt sienna. Another clean cotton round. Pick up that burnt sienna. Add it to around the bottles. And again, it's okay that we go a little bit over the bottles. You can always fix that. like that. Maybe tone it down a little bit, so the clean side of the cotton round I will remove a little bit of that paint. Then I go back and pick some of that green we used earlier. I'm going to make this bottle green, adding the color again with a cotton swab. And here I'm also careful not to go over the lines now, back into that burnt sienna. And then smoothing it out a little bit with a clean cotton round. Looks pretty good. And then maybe let's make this bottle blue. And again, smoothing it out a little bit. And then just for fun, let's add some of that red we used earlier for this bottle here. There you go. And then it's up to you, you can add some color to that bottle too. But now the last one. Looks like I have to zoom out a little bit. This is my wife pouring some red wine in a glass. And again, it's really up to you how you want to color this. So the background, I remember, was a lot of green. This was in our backyard. So I'm going to grab some of that green we used earlier. Just put it all over the background. Again, I like to do big surfaces first, and then worry about details later. It's also always a good idea to, like for big surfaces, mix up the colors a little bit. For example, in this case, I could also add a little bit more yellow here and there. So it's not all just one big surface of the same color. Even with water, you could add some different blues. You can add some different blues to the water. Like that. And then we could pretend like a lot of the sky is reflecting in the glass. So let's add some blue to the glass. You could also do green, like the green would be coming through from the back. We could even do this. So let's add some blue on top here, and then maybe a little bit of that green towards the bottom. You have a little bit of a gradient of colors here. Right there. Yeah, I think I would have this blue. Like that. And then the red wine. So I'm grabbing some red with cotton swab and just color that red wine. Like that. And then maybe in the glass here too. There we go. I wish we could add a little thicker here and there. Making it a little bit more prominent, that color. And that concludes it. So, some little exercises to get you started with Marshall photo oils, in this case printed on inkjet paper, but like I said earlier, if you can get one of the darkroom papers or light jet papers, that will also work really well. So I hope you liked the video, hope it's useful also. Please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.